Hello and welcome to week 11, lesson 2. We're going to write function rules today. So again, we're going to write a function rule, but we're going to write that from a table or a word problem. So we're not going to really focus on the word problem too much today. We're going to focus on that with the next lesson. So we'll get started with writing a function rule from a table. The first thing you're going to do is determine if the change from the input value to the output value is one of the three things that we're going to list here in a second. Reminder, the input value is X and the output value is Y. So is the change an addition subtraction relationship, a multiplication division relationship, or less likely a square or square root relationship? Then once you determine that, you're gonna write the function rule and verify the rule. So let's go ahead and try one. Write a function rule from the relationship shown in the table. So you see that we have X values of 1, 2, 3, 4, and Y values of 5, 6, 7, 8. And we want to determine, is it plus or minus? And so this one is plus minus. I just want to show you how it's consistent. So what do I do from 1 to 5? What do I add to get from 1 to 5? And that would be 4. What do I add to get from 2 to 6? Well, 4 again. How about from 3 to 7? Yeah, it works. It's plus 4. So you see a pattern developing there with your relationship from how you get from X to Y. So that pattern is how we determine our function rule. So we've got our pattern. Now let's write our function from that. So our function rule, how do I get f of x? So f of x equals, well, it's going to be the x value and what I do to that x value. So what did I do to x? I added 4. And there's my function rule. And I'm going to use that last point there to verify, to make sure it worked. So f of 4, I'm putting 4 in for x, would be 4 plus 4, which is 8, which is what the table says. Now, one thing we can do now, once we've established this function rules, we can predict what's going to happen. Let's say if x was 20. It's f of 20, put 20 in for x, 20 plus 4 is 24. Okay, but what happens if the addition relationship doesn't work? Write a function rule from the relationship shown in the table that shows the number of medium pizzas ordered and the cost of the pizzas. So if I order 2 pizzas and it costs $10, let's say I order 5 pizzas and then it costs $25, and so on and so forth. So let's look at addition and subtraction. How do I get from 2 to 10? Well, I would add 8. Okay, cool. How do I get from 2 to 10 using another operation, say multiplication? I would multiply by 5. 2 times 5 is 10. Well, let's go to the next point. 5 plus what gives me 25? What's plus 20? Since those are not the same, plus 8 and plus 20, that's not my function rule. I can't do that. I can't add a different amount. Let's look at multiplication. 5 times 5 is 25. 8 plus 32, and just confirming that adding is not the function here. 8 times what gives me 40? Times 5. And you see there's your pattern. You're multiplying by 5. So let's use that to write our function rule. So that y value, yes, I used y here. It's the same as f of x. So y equals, take your x value and you multiply it by 5. So we write that as 5x. Let's verify it with our last point in the table. What's the y value when x is 10? So put 10 in for x. 5 times 10 is 50. And there you go. It matches. And then we can use that to figure out the 13. So 5 times 13 gives me 65, and that's what would be the y value for that table. Okay, and that concludes lesson 2.